Great. Good morning, everyone. This is our WECafe this morning, all about SEO. So I'm Carrie Leoge, Skills Development Manager here at Women's Enterprise Center. I've been with the organization since 2016, which is hard to believe, and loving every minute of it here. I'm our Skills Development Manager in charge of all our education and training. So if there's a topic you're interested in learning more about, if you know somebody like Glynis who's joining us today that's a subject matter expert and can provide information on a topic that's relevant to you as business owners, we would love for you to share that with us as well. And what cafes like this are very important complement to some of the skills training that we do have as well. So just briefly, I know everybody's pretty much set with how to use the chat and Q&A features and things on Zoom. I believe also, and Nettie, you can jump in here if I'm wrong, you can do the show subtitles as well if you want to follow along and have the text on the bottom of your screen. And I will be monitoring the Q&A and chat today for Glynis. So as those questions come up, I encourage you to pop them in there. We'll do a quick review, and if she's already covered it, we might skip over it, but we don't want to miss any of the questions that you do have today. So pop those in there, which is great. And then briefly, I know a lot of you are familiar, but I always want to remind everybody that you're not in business by yourself, even if you're a solopreneur. We're here to support you however you need. So we have business loans, professional business advisors, and our client service team that can provide support and resources for you. We have amazing skills training and education like this on a variety of topics, and we have lots of recordings on our website. So if you've missed out on something, forgot to register, definitely go check the library of our recordings as well. We have mentoring programs, one-to-one format, peer group format, where there's 6 to 8 women that come together in a group, and also are taking the stage leadership training. Those are all going to be launching again in the spring and throughout the next year. So be sure to sign up for our e-news and e-blasts so that you know when that's coming up. And all of this helps foster the supportive community, as I mentioned, so that you don't feel like you're in business and alone and all by yourself. One important thing I would like to mention is the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund. This is another program, part of the COVID-19 recovery dollars that are available. We right now have loans of up to $60,000 available. The deadline to apply is March 31st. So if you haven't received any other support yet, you don't have a SEBA loan, but you do need some funds to cover some of those non-deferrable expenses, I encourage you to go to wec.ca RRF to find out the details and ask questions if this might be something that can help you get through the next few months, years as you need it. And then again, we still have our COVID-19 resource page up and available for you as well. So be sure to check on that. We update that at least weekly on what are the current programs. So when programs get extended, when we get the loan funds like the RRF fund, we put those updates for you and have links to lots of resources, especially one of the most popular is our digital resource page, which is where you will find the recording of this session once we are done as well. So a lot to get through quickly about WEC. Again, I encourage you to reach out to us at any time if you have any questions about anything else. But today I am very pleased to have Glynis Tao joining us. She's the founder of Chase Your Dreams. And today with, a lot of people are working, staying at home, we really need to increase the visibility of our website. Everybody's looking online. We've gone digital, right? So if we have that online presence, I was telling Glynis when we were on here a few minutes ago, I know what SEO is. I know it's important. I'm probably not committing enough time and effort into it for my own business. So what is the importance of SEO, right? It's going to help us, our website pop up, get found in Google search, things like that. But we need to know what people are looking for. So Glynis is here today to give us some of those tips. And Glynis, just a little brief bio and introduction for you. She's a clothing brand owner turned business consultant and SEO specialist with 20 years of experience in the apparel industry. She helps clothing brands increase organic traffic, make more sales with SEO, and also the host of Chase Your Dreams podcast, for fashion entrepreneurs who are ready to pursue their passion and make a living doing what they love. Isn't that what we all want, ideally, right? Isn't that why we all started our businesses? Glynis has been featured in the Vancouver Sun, National Post, the Globe and Mail, and on CBC Radio. So welcome, Glynis. Thank you for sharing your time with us today and your expertise and knowledge. And I'll let you do another quick introduction as we do the screen share swap. I'll let you take that over at the same time.
Thank you, Carrie Lee, for that wonderful introduction.
Yes, we always have this little transition in between, right? When we swap out the slides, which is good. Perfect. Looks great.
Go. Thank you, Carrie and the Women's Enterprise Center for having me here today to talk about how to do keyword research for SEO. So before we get started, I just wanted to do a quick poll here and to see what are people's knowledge of SEO on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being most knowledgeable.
Yeah, but I can see the poll has popped up. Oh, good. We've got answers coming in
there. So
yeah, coming in fast and furious. This is good. Wow, I think this is one of the quickest poll responses I've seen. Everybody's on it today. I love it.
Where do you see the results?
I will share that with you in just 1 second.
Is that in the polling area?
Yeah.
Because I can't see it. I can see the, oh, here we go.
There we go. Thank you, Nida.
So I see, yeah, a lot of 2, 4, 6. Great.
Yeah.
So it looks like that most people have some knowledge of SEO. Probably at least have heard of what SEO is, and maybe not too entirely sure of how it works exactly. And so that's what I'm here to talk to you about today, to teach you this. And so this is what I'm going to cover today. In this webinar, I will cover keyword research basics, how to find keyword ideas, keyword research tools, and how to choose a keyword. Before I begin, to do a quick introduction of myself, as Carrie Lee already mentioned, I'm a clothing brand owner turned business consultant and SEO specialist with 20 years apparel industry experience. I help clothing brands increase organic traffic and make more sales with SEO. I'm also the founder of Chase Your Dreams Consulting, which offers strategy, business consulting, and SEO services for apparel companies. I'm also the host of Chase Your Dreams podcast, which is available to listen on most podcast platforms. I just launched episode today, did a really amazing interview with American fashion designer Stella Karakasi. So it's a really great interview. If anyone wants to check that out. And I've been featured in different media as well. So let's talk about, why is SEO important for your website? Well, what is SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization, which is the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to your website through organic search engine results. Did you know that 93% of online experiences start with search engine? And each year is more than 2.8 trillion search queries that are made on Google alone. So that means that Google answers more than 88,000 searches worldwide per second. So in other words, every second that your website is not indexed on Google, you miss out on hundreds, if not thousands, of opportunities in which someone might have access to your website, viewed your content, and bought your product or service. So what is SEO? An SEO ranking refers to your content's position on the search engine results page. And #1 ranking means that when people search for a particular term, your web page is the first result that shows up, apart from the promoted results or ads. So appearing in the top 3 results is excellent because almost half of the clicks on any search results page go to those positions. Okay, so appearing on the first page at all within the top 10 results is useful. That's because 95% of people never make it past the first page. So here's a little diagram that I created to illustrate like what SEO is. SEO is made up of these 3 parts. There's technical SEO, on-page SEO, and off-page SEO. Okay, so today with keyword research, it's an activity that it's an on-page SEO activity. Okay, so on-page SEO is a practice of optimizing individual web pages in order to rank higher on search engine results pages. So how does Google actually work? Google has automated software called search bots or spiders, and these bots visit web pages in a process called crawling the web. Then they add the pages they crawl to Google's index, which is a huge catalog of trillions of web pages. When people search Google, Google shows the most relevant results from that catalog. So when you do SEO, you're helping Google spiders to crawl and understand your content. You're also telling Google your content is relevant to certain queries, so your web pages show up in the right search results. So here's an example of a Google search engine result page, right? So everybody's seen this. You go on Google and then you type in your keywords in the search field, right? And so my example here is for organic cotton t-shirt. And you see, so there's the top, those 2 results on the top that have ad next to them. Those are promoted or paid advertisements. So those results show up first, but then the 3 results that are right below that are the organic results. Okay. So I just wanted to explain this to people first before I talk about the keyword research, and because it's important to understand this, because you're going to be applying what you do in your keyword research into when you're writing title tags and meta descriptions. This is the area that it's going to show up in. Okay, so your title tag is this clickable link right here. Okay, this is the title tag is that clickable link that you click to go on. The meta description are the 2 sentences that are right beneath the title tag. So what is keyword research? Keyword research is the process of discovering keywords and phrases that people use in search engines with the ultimate goal of optimizing content around those terms and ranking for those terms in search engines. Why is keyword research important for SEO? Keyword research impacts every other SEO task that you perform, including finding content topics, on-page SEO, and outreach and promotion. So keyword research is really the first thing we usually do when we're starting any SEO campaign. Okay, and so if we just put it another way, keywords are like a compass for your SEO campaigns. They tell you where to go and whether or not you're making progress. So starting with keyword research. Here's just a few tips right now. Piece of content should target one primary keyword, and you can target about 5 to 10 additional keywords. Okay, but you want to focus on one primary keyword per page or per URL. To identify your primary keyword, ask yourself, what is my audience looking for and what questions do they ask online? Because it's important to understand search intent. Okay, and search intent is a term that's used to describe the purpose of an online search. It's the reason why someone conducts a specific search. After all, everyone who does an online search is hoping to find something. Is someone searching because they have a question and want an answer to that question? Are they looking to visit a specific website, or are they searching because they want to buy something? Well, many of these different types of searches form parts of the user journey. And so these are the 4 types of keyword search intent. So there's informational. Usually people type in keywords like guide, tutorial, what, how to. They want to just know about something. Navigational, it could be a name brand, product or service. Commercial, so they're looking to buy something. So they're typing in words like best, cheaper, top, review. And then there's transactional, right? And they're ready to buy. It's like, buy, price, coupon. So those are the 4 keyword search intents to really keep in mind. Okay, so when you're doing keyword research, what is the intent that your customer is doing in order to find you? Okay, so once you understand that, you also can start to brainstorm a list of topics for finding your keyword ideas, right? And so there's different ways to kind of do that, to brainstorm and come up with topics that your target customer is interested in. So for example, let's say that you run a fashion commerce website. Well, you want to ask yourself, what topics do people search for that are related to my business? So some topics that come to mind would be things like fashion, trends, shop, community, lookbook, bestsellers, media, and that sort of thing. So here's some other ways that you can do some, get some keyword ideas and research. Wikipedia, sometimes you look in the table of contents, it has different topics here. You can do searches related to, which is like in the Google field when you're typing in stuff, it gives you some, results there. You can go onto different forums, see what questions people are asking, what they're talking about. It's related to your specific topic or industry or niche. And so, yeah, so here are some ideas. And okay, so keyword research tools. There's different keyword research tools that are out there. Google Keyword Planner is the most reliable source of keyword information online. That's because unlike most other tools, the data you get from Keyword Planner comes straight from Google. The downside, however, is a Google Keyword Planner is that it's designed to help people with their Google ad campaigns and not with SEO. And lately, they've been limiting the number of searches that come up, the results that they're giving you, and not giving you the exact numbers. So other tools around that you can use are Exploding Topics or Keyword Finder, Keywords Everywhere, Uber Suggest, and SEM Rush. Uber suggests to be a free tool that you could use. Although lately he's started to charge for it, or limited the number of keywords that you're allowed to search, and then until you have to pay if you want more keywords. SEM Rush also has a free plan that allows you to do a amount of searches before it's paid. But I use SEM Rush. It's a paid subscription, and it gives you a lot of reporting features, and you're able to look up keywords and that your competitors are ranking for. So I use that as my tool. And so I have this keyword research template, and it actually has the link to the Google Drive where you can actually be able to download this template for yourself to use as an Excel spreadsheet. So, you can use a combination of different tools, like you're using either Keyword Planner, or you're using, SEM Rush or Uber Suggest to do your keywords research. So as you're getting them, you can use a spreadsheet like this to track it. Okay, so the spreadsheet, you put in your keyword here, your monthly volume, cost per click, the keyword difficulty, and that's how difficult the keyword is to rank for. Relevance is really more of a gut feeling. How you think in terms of the keyword is relevant, and also how it's trending right now. Is it a popular keyword that people are looking for? So you can actually put all your keywords in here and put in as many as you come up with through your research, and don't really filter it, or like try to think, oh, is it a good keyword or not? But do that later. Put the keywords on first, and then you can sort it, right? You can sort it by monthly volume after. And so one thing I want to talk to you is just to tell you what long tail keywords are. So there's different keywords, right? There's seed keyword, like as a primary like keyword, right? It could be a keyword like search engine optimization, but long tail keywords usually contain 4 or more word phrases that are usually very specific. So long tail keywords are search terms that are relatively low, have low search volume and competition levels. So it could be like you're in a competitive industry, there's like keywords that are very popular, that are very competitive. You may want to use a strategy of going for long tail keywords. And so, here's an example of a long tail keyword: red tennis shoes with zippers. So why are long tail keywords important for SEO? Well, long tail keywords aren't that competitive, and long tail keywords actually have high conversion rates, because if you think about it, if somebody's actually putting in something that's specific, you know that they are like really more, have a higher likelihood to buy, to purchase, because they are looking for something specific instead of just putting in the keyword shoes, right, which is so general. If they're putting red tennis shoes with zippers, like that's a very specific keyword. Okay, so the bottom line, the traffic that you get from long tail terms tend to convert really well. So you want to have a combination of, short tail and long tail keywords in your research.
A couple of questions, if we can just pause for 1 second.
Yes.
One person is asking, how often should we be doing this research and updating the information that we have on our website? And I don't know if you're going to come to that later. And then asking, does the CPC, so the cost per click, only apply to ads? So I'll leave those with you to either answer now or say that you're going to come to it in a few minutes.
Yeah, those are good questions. So how often should you be doing this keyword research? Well, the beginning of a launch of a site, or on a relaunch of a site. So on the new site, you want to do your keyword research in the beginning to make sure you're getting the right keywords, and in terms of on your content, on your website pages. So, and you also want to do it probably on a yearly to check if are those keywords still relevant? Are people still searching for those? Are those keywords the right keywords? And are there keywords that are trending right now in your industry or niche? So you want to do it in the beginning, and then also do it probably yearly. And also the cost per click question. Excuse me. It's for paid ads, but also the cost per click, right? Actually, I'm about to answer that question right here.
Perfect.
How to choose a keyword.
Okay.
So they asked at the right time. So how do you choose a keyword? So now that you have a list of keywords, how do you know which one to pick? Well, unfortunately, there's no tool out there that will tell you this is the best keyword on your list. Instead, you need to size up each keyword based on a handful of different factors, then pick the keyword that's the best fit for your business. So you want to look at search volume, right? So search volume is the number of times a keyword's been searched in 1 month time. The more people search for a keyword, the more traffic you can get from it. And search volumes vary a lot between different industries. So that's why you want to figure out what a high and low search volume number is in your niche. Then choose keywords based on what's normal in your industry. So click-through rate is the number of Google searchers that click on an organic search result. And unfortunately, that number is coming a bit down right now because of something called feature snippets, which Google is doing. If you notice this when you're putting in a search bar for something, they pop up with an answer. You see that, like just a little clip. So you don't even go onto the web page because your answer is like right there in the featured snippets. So you also the difficulty, keyword difficulty as well. Yeah, you want to find keywords that are lower than 80. So it's usually between 1 and 100, how difficult the keyword is to rank for. So if your site is new, it's best to target low competition terms at first, like long tail keywords, like I said earlier, right? Then as your site grows in authority, you can start to target more competitive stuff. And cost per click. So why do we look at cost per click? Well, really, it's a measure of commercial intent. So the cost per click, if it's a high cost per click, it shows that there's a high commercial intent for that keyword. So so cost per click is a metric that answers the question, do people searching for this keyword actually spend money? So yeah, so search volume is nice and all, but if that keyword has zero commercial intent, then there's no point in targeting that term. So hopefully that answers that question. And also looking at keyword trends, you can use a tool like Google Trends to see if your keyword is growing fast or dying slow. Okay. So now that you have your list of keywords, what do you do with it? So you go and do keyword optimization. So this is when the on-page SEO stuff comes in, right? So where do you put the keywords? You put the keywords in your page titles, right? So that's the title tag that I told you earlier, which was the clickable link that should have no more than 70 characters in it, because anything longer than that is going to get truncated and cut off. You want to optimize your meta description. So those are the 2 sentences that are right under the title tag, and keep it around 150 to 175 characters in length. You want to use the keywords in your image alt tags, or image alt text, sometimes it's called, but image alt tags are really important. And it's also something that sometimes it gets overlooked by people, especially for product-based businesses, or it's, images are really important. So, there's something called image SEO, and that's how to get your product images to show up in Google image search. So you gotta make sure you're saving your file names with the description of the image. Don't ever leave your product pictures or your pictures to the default name, like image1.jpg. That's not good. Okay, so use a descriptive in that file name, and also in your image alt text as well. You want to put in describe what that image is, because what an image alt tag is for visually impaired, right? So it's like some the closed captioning, so it tells you what the image is on that page. And also, if your site doesn't load the image, it'll have that little sentence that tells you, okay, this image is about this. Okay, and Google looks at that because Google can't see pictures, they see text. And so that's what the image alt tag is for, okay, is to tell Google what your image is about. So you want to have your keywords in that image alt tag. And also you want to use the right header tags, like for example, your H1, which is the main header, and then you have subheadings like H2 and H3. So you want to have your title tag in there, and you also want to include your keyword in your page URL if you can. So these are the areas that you should be putting that keyword into, as well as the content on your page as well. Okay.
So Glynis, I have a quick question about the images. Because I know when I load, like our site for my business is built on WordPress, and when you're uploading that media, do you have to have those images renamed before you do that upload, or on most of the platforms, can you rename them once they're in there? I don't think you can. So I think that's a first step. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And now if we have a little bit of time, I can actually show you, I can do a demonstration and show you where these go. If people are interested or want to see that, where to put that. But yeah, to answer your question, you need to save your file name first in your, like on your computer. So go in and rename your file names and then upload them on, say, if it's Shopify that you're using, or Squarespace or WordPress, like the file name already has to be saved with the proper file name, and that before you can upload.
Right.
You can't go and change your file name. Yeah.
Perfect. And while we're on this slide, quickly, I have a couple of questions coming in about what does H1, H2, H3 mean? So if you could just quickly elaborate on that, that would be great.
Yeah, so the H1 is your header. It's the main header. So usually on your page, like even say if you have a blog article and your H1 is usually the title of your blog article, so that you would make sure you select as the H1 or header 1, and as your yeah, that's the H1, so that's the tag. So you tag it that, and so make sure that your keyword is in that sentence, the title of your blog. And also having H2, H3 are subheadings, and those help as well. Like when you have long blog article, it's like just putting in the header so people may be skimming through it, and having the H2 and H3s in there, subheaders essentially, or subheaders help people, right? Go, oh, I want to read about this. Those really long blog articles, right? Like if you have like 1,000 words or more on the page, it's just like they have to scroll through so much. But if they want to just find specific information, then using headers like that, subheaders, are really helpful.
Great. And then just quickly before we get too far ahead, I want to scroll back here in the Q&A, because a few people are asking about how do we know the search volume, right? So how do they find a few of those things? I think it was the slide before. How is that one of the tools that you mentioned earlier in how to find that, the search?
Yeah. So when I talked about using the keyword research tools, like all of them, whether or not it's the keyword planner or the Uber suggested, the SEM Rush, they all give you search volume information on that. So when you're doing it, you'll see it. It'll tell you like search volume.
Okay.
Yeah, the tools
tools
provide that.
Yeah, and what we'll do too, everyone, Glynis, if you're okay with it, we'll prepare a list of some of those tools you've talked about and resources, and we can send that all out in a follow-up email as well to help guide everybody through this as well.
Yeah,
perfect. Sure. Okay, I'm mindful there's a few more questions here, but let's continue with the content, and we'll see if some of those get answered. And then there's lots of requests to see the live demo, so I'll leave that with you based on the content that you have. But let's keep going, and then we'll come back to some of those questions in the demo.
Oh, awesome. Yes, thank you. I think it was just, I'm near the end of my presentation, really. So this is the last slide, but this is the $1 million question. How long does it take to rank? And no one can answer that question really. Can give you a range, a time frame. SEO is a long game, so it takes patience. and time to get to rank. Like I said, you know, it depends on the competitiveness of the keyword, depending on your industry or niche. So if you're using like keywords that have lower search volume, you could rank within 121 days. So this chart shows you here, low volume keywords here, you can start ranking in about, 3 months or so. Medium volume, you'll be ranking within 304 days, and then high volume keywords that search have higher keyword difficulty, it could be up to a year. So I usually tell people within 6 months to a year before that they can start seeing the results, because you're really at the mercy of Google's algorithm, and that changes a lot. Like Google makes 8 algorithm updates a day, and sometimes you could suddenly see a drop in your SEO, your traffic, and that just because of the update that happened. So you're looking at the long term, right? Overall with your efforts and being consistent with it, and you're also monitoring it, making sure you have Google Analytics and Google Search Console set up on your website to track that data and be able to measure your traffic, see what keywords you're ranking for, and then, see what's going on. You can make improvements on that information. So that's that. And here is my contact information. If anyone is interested to reach out to me, my email address is hello@glynistao.com. And I'm actually, if anyone is interested to book a call with me, Netta has my Calendly booking link. And also for those who are attending this webinar today, for the first 10 people who book with me, I'm offering a complimentary website assessment, which includes an audit report that I will give you and review with you as well. And this is typically I charge $250 for it. So yeah, if you want that,
great. Thank you.
For the first 10 people to book.
Perfect.
And hopefully, I think Netta has my booking link to
Great.
book a call with me. And so that pretty much wraps up my presentation.
Good. So if we can do a live, I'm just going to go through again the questions here. So how do I get Google to, in quotes, remap my website once I've done this work? Right. So I guess that's part of that indexing that you were talking about. Does that?
Yeah. So in Google search engine, Google Search Console. Google Search Console is what you need to have to submit your site map. So if you haven't done so already, you want to, well, first of all, create a Google Analytics account and Google Search Console and submit your site map on Google Search Console so that it will crawl your site. It triggers it to crawl your site, especially if it's a new site that just launched. They don't know it exists. You want to submit your site map. It's usually your website domain //site map.xml. And you submit it, and then it triggers Google to crawl, and then Google crawls depending, on the popular for higher traffic sites, like news sites or like CNN or whatever, they'll read it like a lot more often than a site that's like, that has lesser traffic. They might just like scan it every 3 months or whatever. But if you want them to crawl it, then you go into your Google Search Console.
And is that something that's easy for somebody, like if they are just setting up their website and getting started, or want to go through this process, setting up Google Analytics and the Google Search Console? Is that something that's pretty straightforward and easy to do if you're not an IT expert?
No, and I mean, you can Google it. you can Google how to set up Google Analytics. And Google, there is instructions on how to do it, but definitely do that first before anything.
Yeah. I
If
love
you
that.
have a
So Google,
local business as well, set up your Google My Business.
oh,
Yeah,
and that's important too, especially if you're location based, right?
yeah. For location-based businesses, have physical shop, retail, or any kind of location, right? That customers can visit you
Mhm.
during regular business hours, but to have a Google My Business page as well to help that helps with Google rankings and showing up on the local pack, the maps as well.
Okay. Okay. And did you want to go ahead? There was a few people here commenting about the like a live demo. So if you want to pull up and maybe walk people through a few things on screen, you can just have that ready and then do a screen share again. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Perfect.
Just pulling that up right here.
And then I will again just go through a few of the questions, and I'll try and capture these too. So if we don't get them to them today on this session, maybe we can come up with kind of an FAQ answer sheet as well. So let's see.
Yeah, I'm sure people have more questions after this, and as you get into doing the keyword research, you probably have more questions. But here, like for example, I'm using Shopify site to show you right now for a jewelry company here. So I'm in the product section for this particular site here for these macrame earrings. This is a site that a local jewelry maker, and she wanted to rank for macrame brass jewelry. And so if you have a Shopify site, you'll probably know, like you'll see this is the title, the name of the product, and then you'll see the description here, and then you have your images, and then you go down here for your search engine listing preview, and this is where you can go in and click on to edit your website SEO. Okay, if you don't do this, they will default it to probably the title and the description that you already have, but you don't necessarily need to have that. You may want to be able to put the keywords in here. So, you know, macrame earrings, modern jewelry made from brass and macrame, made in Canada. Like that's why I switched out and I put in the SEO, but this is where you would do it. Okay, you would go into edit your SEO, and then you put in your page title. And so this would be here. That's that clickable link that shows up in search engines. And then your meta description, which are the 2 sentences are right beneath it. And right here is where you would create what your URL would be.
Right.
So,
and this looks similar. I know I use a plugin on my WordPress website. I think it's SEO Yoast or something like that. And it looks very similar to this, where you can edit what shows up on Google to make sure that you're, again, like you said, capturing the attention of people as well. Because sometimes that first sentence on your web page isn't as relevant to what's actually on the page. So when you create that little description, that's what's going to catch people's attention and the search, right? In the search, but also as people are scrolling through the results that they get.
Yeah, and with this, I mean, this is one of my clients who's able to rank. She's on page 1 for macrame earrings.
Oh,
so
great.
She ranks and the top 10 results on page 1 of Google for macrame earrings. So that's where you would do it. And then also when we were talking about like image, alt text as well, we have to still change this, but this will be where the file name would be. So when you're uploading it, you want to make sure that this file name, right? Don't leave it like this right now. We want to put the name of this right here, change this file name, and then the image alt text is here. So you just go here and then you're like, you put it in and then you save. And that takes care of that.
Then I have another question coming in. Does it make a difference which web publishing software you use? So we have Shopify, WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, and probably many more. Does Google favor any of those, or is it all based on this text that's living on your website?
Yeah, the process is the same regardless of what platform you're using, whether Shopify or WordPress. But I'm finding it's interesting. I'm finding that when I'm working with Shopify sites, they tend to rank a lot faster.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they just prefer, like, I'm not sure. This is, but I'm like, wow, like some of these are ranking pretty quickly, these Shopify sites. So it's just interesting. But I'm finding like for definitely like depending on what the site is, if you're an e-commerce site, Shopify is the most common, most popular site for that. It's very easy to use. You don't need to have, web design development experience. It's really, they have templates that come with it, and then it's just like, you just drag and drop.
Very user friendly.
Very user friendly. I heard
Yeah.
it's way more user friendly than like Squarespace. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to go through the questions here. Okay, let me just scroll up here in the questions. People are asking if your contact information will be shared in the follow-up email, and that's a yes. And then, so one person's asking, so on that, when you were showing those earrings and the image still just had, image and the number, can you give an example of what you would have, like, what would you rename that to so that you've got some of those keywords in there? It doesn't matter how long that name is. And do you put that underscore line in between each words? Because I've seen that a lot of the times as well. Does that make a difference?
Okay, yeah. So that's a good question. And I go through this with my clients all the time. So I'm like,
yeah,
I can't go in and rename file names unless they give me the whole folder. But this is a really time-consuming thing to do because she has so much product on there already, and that was already on site like before I even came into the picture, and they were already like, she already loaded the products on right with that, and she didn't know that she had to rename her file name. So it's like, okay, well, my clients have to go in and rename these file names and re-upload everything. But it's a time-consuming process to do it. But if you really want to rank for image SEO, like do it properly, do this in the beginning. Like, seriously, like I'm telling you, like if you have like 500 products, it's gonna be kind of hard to do, right? So do it in the beginning. Make sure you rename your file names, your image file names, to like 4 words, I would say, and use hyphens, not underscores.
Okay.
Don't use underscores in your URLs. Use hyphens in that name. So it could be something like women's brass macrame earrings. So and you would put the hyphen in between each word,
right?
Or because she has and I understand it could duplicate that because the same product could come in different colors. So you could put women's green macrame earrings, or you could say sometimes they have a garment, it's like the front and back, so it's the same thing, but you would just maybe put like I'm doing one for wedding dress designer, and like saying, she has asymmetrical wedding dress back.
Right. Yeah.
That would be your file name, but make sure you put that dash in between asymmetrical dash wedding dash dress dash back .jpeg.
Right.
That would be your file name.
And building on that, we have another question on that text. Should we be describing the actual image or our keywords? Example, a travel website with travel photos. So it's not product, right? So if you're trying to sell travel, is it what keywords? And then do you also put the location? So because we've talked about products, so this is a bit more of a service flair to it. So what are the recommendations there?
Yeah, so you want to describe that image. So if it's a picture of Bora Bora, like you could say let's just say if it's an aerial view of Bora Bora, you can say aerial dash, view, or dash Bora Bora, or if it's a picture of a waterfall or something in Bora Bora, you could say, Bora Bora waterfall.
Yep.
Something like that. But yeah, describe what it is.
Okay. And I have a great question here. And thank you, Denise, for asking this, because I think this is going to come up as important. She says, would it be beneficial to use keywords that may not be related to your service, but would be common search items for your target market? So she's saying the example is she runs baby classes. And if they included terms around lactation consulting, is that too far off of what she's providing? Like, does Google penalize you if it's not related to what's on your page?
Oh no, that's a really good question, actually. So that is something, what she's asking is, there's a term, it's called latent semantic indexing, and that's a important Google ranking factor when they're looking at content on a page. So words that are related, not in terms of synonyms, right? But words that are related to the keywords. So if you are, say, writing an article on New York City, traveling to New York City, or travel guide, you could put in words like the Big Apple, yellow cab, Statue of Liberty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are semantically related words. So no, it's actually going to help you, because it just think about, like, Google's going, like, scanning the page going, okay, what's this page about? What's this article about? It's about New York City. And then they look at, like, related terms, like, does it really match, or what they're saying, like, on the page match what they're trying to what they're talking about, right? So the more those latent semantic terms that you put in, it's more relevant. So it'll actually help your site.
Good, great question. Just looking here quickly. And now, is it possible, I don't know, we've got about 6 minutes left. Is it possible for you to, to show us, like, how to find, let's use your jewelry example. If she was trying to find some keywords, do you have something that you can show us quickly how we could start that, trying to find out what some of those keywords are? And I know you said go to Wikipedia and things like that, but is there something within Google itself where you can go in and say, okay, hey, I'm a jewelry maker and I want to find out what keywords I need to use? Is that possible in the time we have?
Yeah, so another thing you can do is, when you start in your keyword research, is do some competitive analysis. So when I do keyword research, it's like I do keyword research, competitive analysis sort of at the same time. So you want to go in and see what keywords your competitor is ranking for as well. So that could also help you as a starting point. Say if you're totally new or something, you can find a similar competitor site, and then go and see what keywords they're ranking for. And
how do you see that? Like, where do we find that?
I'll show you, like, here where. Let me turn my screen with you here. And I'm using SEMrush. Okay, so this tool, and this there's a free plan, but that limits how many searches you can do. But, like, in terms of, like, they have this keyword research tool right here, so you can even, like, try to search, like, let's see. So she makes brass jewelry. So I was like, okay, let's just see what is the keyword search volume for that keyword. So here, brass jewelry, it tells you the search volume is 320. So I can actually choose my location to whatever country. So most of her business is based in Canada. So on here, you guys see this?
Yep.
Yes, right? Okay. So here's the search volume. Okay. This number times this keywords been searched in 1 month. Here's the keyword difficulty. So like I was saying, you know,
Right.
anything that's under 80%. So this isn't too bad. Okay. Here's your cost per click. So if you're paying for ads, this would be the cost per click for that keyword. And so it's like, okay, brass jewelry, not bad. You know, this also gives you keyword variations as well. So you can also find like antique brass jewelry. So that has a keyword volume 90. It gives you some other things, perhaps some long tail keywords like in form of questions. How to clean brass jewelry naturally, you know, how to clean brass jewelry, how to polish brass jewelry. These are some popular questions people are asking around that. Is brass safe for earrings? So this is a great research tool here. It tells you here, you know, the sites that are ranking for that keyword, which sites are ranking for brass jewelry. And then also it also does like competitive research. So I know like for that like site, we are looking for, there's a Canadian jewelry designer who her name is it's Jenny Bird. And so I can go into like something like my domain overview and look up the competitor. I think it's jennybird.com. So in this, it'll show me this website. It'll show me their information. It'll show me the keywords that they're ranking for. So I can go and look at the keywords they rank for. And that's sort of where I can sort of start compiling, you know, a list. Okay, like what keywords. Sometimes it might not. I don't know if I have the right site. But sorry, yeah, you're putting me on the spot here.
That's okay. No,
but I'm just trying to show you quickly. I don't think this is the right
idea.
site. Anyways, it might not be the right site. But yeah, so that's kind of where, and then I can start like collecting the keywords and adding it to my list. The keywords. So I can actually set up
just
projects.
seeing that tool, seeing that tool and how we can navigate through that, I think was just to, for me, I need to see the visual too, right? I learn visually sometimes. So just seeing that, okay, here's where we're going to find that. So it's not like you're going in a bunch of different places. So there are some tools. So again, we'll pull some of those together and share that in the follow-up email as well. Yeah. I'm just going to look quickly here again. We have quite a few questions. I think we've answered most of those, but again, if anybody has any really burning questions afterwards, one quick one here, Glynis, is do these keywords also apply to YouTube, which is a good question.
YouTube SEO, yeah, it's different, and I'm not covering it in this presentation, but yeah, you also need to make sure you're putting in your title and your descriptions, and also there's a section you can put in keyword search, or like inside when you're setting it up. You know what I'm saying? There's that. That's where you would put it all in. But,
yeah, and probably that same thing, right? When you're uploading that video, make sure the file name is proper, your titles are proper. That could be a whole other session, perhaps. Great.
Yeah.
Good. And thank you, everybody, for such active participation and lots of Q&A today, which is great. And I hope we got to answer most of them for you. Just quickly a screen share, because I want to make sure we stay on time. We're at 11 o'clock. So a couple of upcoming webinars. So if those are of interest to you as well, right? Funding sources for immigrant women, a great session coming up next week. And then ask me anything on government contracting. So even if you're a solopreneur selling a service, Glynis, even such as yourself, there's lots of ways the government is looking to support small business and get contracts. So that's a great session for people to attend if they are interested in learning more on that as well. And then of course we have our quick poll here. I'm just going to launch that. quickly, if everybody could just answer 3 quick questions about the session today, we would really appreciate that. And in the follow-up email, we do have a few more questions because we always want to learn about, again, what topics you're interested in, if you have any other speakers to recommend, things like that as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you so much, Glynis. That was a wealth of information, a great step-by-step walkthrough. I know myself, I'm probably going to watch it again and pause and go do some of the work and then listen to you again and pause and do some more. So very, very helpful and a great resource for us to have on our website. So thank you very much. Reminder to everybody, we'll share Glynis's contact information, some of those websites and additional resources in our follow-up email. So thank you, Glynis. Very informative. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And thank you, Netta, in the background for keeping us on track and no technical glitches today. It was great.
That's good. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thanks, everyone.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day.
So hopefully that went well. Oh, one thing, I have a question. If there's like women entrepreneurs who are looking for funding that are outside of BC, like, can they contact Women's Enterprise Center, or?
For us, it has to be in BC only for funding. But there's Alberta Women in Business, there's the Women Entrepreneurs of Saskatchewan. So there's organizations across Canada. Some do funding and some do not. So it depends on where they're located.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But for you guys, it's just for BC.